So I'm going to make a video about how I do an oil change. It doesn't take a lot of tools. You need an oil filter, some kind of wrench that will fit the drain bolt, and your oil. I use a funnel as well. I forgot to film that. First you want to open up the, oil filler hole thingy. I don't know what it's called. But it's where you put the oil in. And it's gonna have to be cracked a little bit, let some air in, kind of like, fluids just drain better when it's open. So you find that drain bolt, it's gonna be under your bike. It's gonna be a bolt. Pretty easy to find usually. This is pretty universal. Once you've figured out the right size socket and which direction to go, just loosen it up. The rest is honestly pretty easy. Although this one, I don't know, it's a little clumsy. Eventually, while trying to avoid getting very hot oil on my hands, I did get the bolt off. When you start to see drips, get that wrench out, and it obviously just starts pouring out. What you want to avoid doing is dropping your fucking wrench in the very hot oil. Find the oil filter. It's usually going to be in the front of your bike, but your manual will probably tell you where it is if you can't find it. I get these filters with a little, it's got like a bolt on top, so you can just use the same wrench as a drain bolt for me. And some people don't like these. You can get a different tool to get a filter off if you want. Honestly, I don't tighten them very much. I just hand tighten and then do a quick little screw, so it's fine. There's a bunch of oil in there too, so you just got to be careful. That's why I got this giant drain pan. I don't like getting oil all over the pavement. I usually pour oil into the filter. I forgot this time. When I'm dealing with this, I usually put the drain bolt back at this point. I don't think I actually have in the video either, but again, it doesn't super duper matter. So I'm just tightening to kind of tight. You don't want to over torque it, but just basically when I start getting any kind of real resistance, if I had to, then I know that that is too much force, so I don't do that. That was a good grunt, just so you know. So at this point, I'm just going to start filling it up. The drain bolt is definitely in by now, and so I know my bike takes a gallon of oil. I use the Rotella T6. It's synthetic. It's fine. I'm not going to get into an oil argument. If you're not sure which oil to use, just follow your manual. It pours in really slow. You want to get a funnel with a filter. You don't want debris getting in there. And you can check the status of how much oil is left by looking at the little line on the back of the oil jug. Almost all of them have this. Once you've filled it up most of the way, I know mine doesn't take a full gallon, so I do, like 3.5 gallons, or 3.5 quarts. You run the bike, let it, kind of warm up, just do a couple minutes, then turn it back off. You're gonna let the oil fill that oil sight glass in the center of the screen there. So this takes a while, and I guess some bikes you can do it right after you run it. I don't know exactly, but your manual will tell you when to check the sight glass. You can see the oil starting to fill here. Most of these sight glasses are going to have a high and a low mark, and you can actually use a screwdriver to sort of wipe the window if it gets a little, dark or hard to see. So you can see mine's about halfway through. I did add a little bit more just to make sure it's good. You don't want to overfill, but you don't want to super underfill. I'd rather a little bit underfill than overfill. Then I put the old oil back in the jug. I know it holds about the same amount, so you know it'll fit. And you take that jug and you bring it to the, I'm at an AutoZone. I'm not affiliated, but they get rid of that stuff for free. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.